Mr. Johnson, thank you so much for your time.
You bet.
First of all, I wanted to ask you about this movement that's out there, hashtag Let Gary Debate. You're here in Vegas, you're not participating in the debates because you're not qualified for the debates, but what are your plans here while you're in Vegas?
Well, I actually have a lot of media interviews. There's a lot of spare time for national media, and everybody's here, so we're taking advantage of just a lot of invitations.
And also, I understand that, we've had these past couple of debates. What do you think?
Well, last debate, I think, kind of summarized it all in the first 30 minutes. They didn't talk about one single issue other than wanting to kill each other.
So I also wanted to ask you, you were the governor of New Mexico for 2 terms as a Republican. Why did you switch parties when you decided to run for president in 2012?
I've self-identified as a libertarian since 1971, although I've been a registered Democrat and a registered Republican, did serve as a registered Republican. And I think I'm like a lot of people. I think I'm representative of most people who are socially inclusive, fiscally conservative, skeptical about our wars, and free market, recognizing that free market is more U.S. jobs, not less. Crony capitalism is alive and well in this country. Government picks winners and losers and shouldn't pick winners and losers.
And I was going to say a lot of people out there don't know what the Libertarian Party is all about, and it sounds like that you've recapped that for us.
Yeah, well, fiscally conservative, socially inclusive, skeptical of the wars, skeptical when we go in and support regime change, and free market.
You did bring up the wars, and with all due respect, I do need to ask you, do you think the voters have any concerns? I'm referring to the interview that you had with MSNBC where the reporter asked you about the city in Syria.
What they ought to have concerns over is somebody that can dot the I's and cross the T's on geographic locations and foreign leaders, Hillary Clinton, and puts our military in horrible situations that we can't win, undefinable objectives. If you take Syria as an example, it's a civil war that there is no end to that civil war. And Hillary's been an architect of that. So, yes, I do take offense at being called out on names of geographic locations,
and we're
foreign
talking about
leaders.
that one point where you were asked about Aleppo, and ever since then, people have been kind of harping on that.
So let's just talk about Aleppo for a second. All right, Aleppo. You've got Assad on the western side of Aleppo. On the eastern side of Aleppo, you have the Free Syrian Army. They're allied with and by the way, we're supporting the Free Syrian Army with arms. They're allied with the Islamists. And you know what? We don't support the Islamists. And there was all sorts of conjecture that by arming the Free Syrian Army, that the Islamists were going to end up with those arms. And that's exactly what happened. And then you've got Raqqa, which is ISIS, which arguably came about because of our invasion of Iraq, where Saddam's henchmen fled to Raqqa and organized ISIS. Those arms ended up in ISIS hands also. We support the Kurds against ISIS, but the Kurds are sideways with our Turkish ally because of our invasion of Iraq in the first place. And before any of this started, we supported Assad. We gave him resources to fight the Islamist terrorists.
There is no doubt that you have done your homework on Syria.
I've done this homework prior to that.
But I do need to ask you.
But can't dot the I's and cross the T's when it comes to foreign locations. This is a mess that Hillary Clinton got us into, and that Bush got us into, and Obama has kept us in.
I do need to ask you, because there have been other instances, do voters need to worry about your knowledge of foreign policy at all?
I'll let you be the judge of that.
Okay, well, one more question for you. We know a lot about you. We know that you're a businessman. We know that you focused on lowering government, getting rid of government when you were governor of New Mexico for 2 terms.
And the state is 2-1 Democrat and got reelected. So I think it speaks volumes to the fact that people do appreciate good stewardship of tax dollars.
I was going to say, what else do you want the voters of Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia to know?
Well, that I was a good steward of tax tax dollars, and that when it comes to shrinking the size of government, the Constitution of the United States is a document that limits the size and scope of government. The first 10 amendments of the Constitution, Bill of Rights, is about protecting the rights of the minority against the will of the majority. It's possible that government can deliver on equal opportunity, something that right now, government's for sale right now.
Last thing, I know that when you ran for president in 2012, you got 1.2 million votes. Looking at your Facebook page now, 1.7 million likes. If that translates into votes, is that a good sign for you?
Well, yes. There was a lot of momentum in 2012, and the momentum has continued to today. So, kind of reaping the benefits, seeing this all the way through.
All right. Thank you very much for your
Yes,
time,
thank
and
you very
good luck
much.
in the
Thank you.
election.
Thank you.